Mask of Bakris was originally introduced when Beyond Light first came out, but now we've got a few other Stasis tools in the game that makes this exotic a must-have for all hunters out there. Well, today I'm going to have a closer look at the Mask of Bakris, how to get it, plus put together a dual-purpose support and DPS build working with Ager's Scepter. So once you try this build, it's going to be hard to go back to anything else. Well, if you're new around here or find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content, and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. And roughly 98% of viewers who watch This Week in Video Games aren't subscribed, so subscribe today and never miss an update. Well, before we get into the build today, let's have a look at the Mask of Bakris itself. So the Mask of Bakris is an exotic hunter helmet, and it comes with the perk Light Shift, so it replaces your Stasis subclass dodge ability with a long-range, faster-moving shift that partially cloaks you during use. And after shifting, your arc weapons deal increased damage to combatants for a short time, and you deal increased damage to all slowed or frozen combatants. So I'm going to be putting together a build focused around Stasis, so I'm going to be using the Mask of Bakris, of course, and also Ager's Scepter. So Mask of Bakris is great for DPS, given all targets affected by Stasis take a 10% increase in damage when Light Shift is active, and this damage buff also stacks with other damage sources. Well, next up, let's have a look at how to get Mask of Bakris. So Mask of Bakris is one of the new exotic pieces of armor introduced with Beyond Light, and you can target farm exotic pieces of armor through the Legend and the Master Lost sectors. So if you complete these activities solo, then there's a chance for the exotic armor to drop for you, and every day the Legends and the Master Lost sectors rotate, with 2 available each day across the planets and the moons. Well, as well as the location for the Legends and the Master Lost sectors rotating, the rewards, well, they rotate too, with different armor pieces for head, arms, chest and legs. If you want to check out the location and the rewards, you can do so in-game by completing the lost sectors on the regular difficulty and then checking on the map, and they are indicated by a blue shield icon. Well, to get the Mask of Bakris, you want to look out for the exotic helmet reward, and then if you complete the Legend or the Master Lost sector solo as a hunter, you'll have a chance for that reward to drop for you. If you don't get it the first time, keep trying and you'll get it after a few tries. Well, next up, let's have a look at a Mask of Bakris Hunter PVE build, and this is a Stasis focused support build. I'm going to be using a combination of the Mask of Bakris and Ager's Scepter, the exotic Stasis trace rifle from Season of the Lost. This build is great because you can be able to support your teammates, freeze opponents, supply melee energy to your fire team and bolster your shields, making you nearly impossible to kill, making this build perfect for endgame PvE like Nightfalls, raids and also lost sectors as well. Well, first of all, let's have a look at the weapons. So the only must-have weapon here is Ager's Scepter. The other 2 are fairly interchangeable, but make sure they are arc weapons, as the Mask of Bakris gives you the benefit of your arc weapons dealing increased damage to combatants for a short time. So looking at Ager's Scepter first, it's an exotic kinetic trace rifle. It's got some really interesting perks and that synergizes really well with Stasis builds. So looking at the perks, we've got Ager's Call, so final blows of the weapon generate a slowing burst around a defeated target, and we got Rieger's Refrain, so Stasis final blows transfer ammo to the magazine from reserves. Also, you want to try and get hold of this catalyst as well, and you can get the catalyst from running the astral alignment activity, and it's a random drop from the chest at the end. We're looking at the energy slot. I'm using Wolftone Draw, so this one is a bow, and bows are really hot this season, and specifically it's a legendary energy combat bow with a precision frame, meaning a longer draw time, and it's optimized for damage. For PvE, Agile Bowstring, Carbon Arrow Shaft, Impulse Amplifier and Dragonfly would be a decent roll. So Agile Bowstring greatly increased the handling speed and slightly improved stability, Carbon Arrow Shaft increased stability, and Impulse Amplifier increased the projectile speed and reload speed, and finally Dragonfly creates elemental damage explosions. This one is like a mini Trinity Ghoul with Dragonfly. And to get this one, you can get it from the Astral Alignment activity in Season of the Lost, but you will need the Season Pass. Well, next up, looking at the power weapon, I'm using Tarantula. This is a linear fusion rifle, and this one deals arc damage with a precision frame, meaning it fires a long-range precision energy bolt, and the weapon's recoil pattern is much more predictably vertical. For PvE, Feeding Frenzy and Wellspring would be a decent roll, whereas PvP, Moving Target and Snapshot Sights would be the roll to go after. And the most popular role out there with the community at the moment is Feeding Frenzy and Dragonfly, again for those elemental damage explosions. Well, next up, let's have a look at the subclass. So for this build, I'm using the Revenant Hunter, and that is my Stasis subclass. So Given we're focusing on the Mask of Bakris for the build, it does require the Stasis subclass, so we're going to be using Ager's Scepter as our exotic in the kinetic slot to create Stasis shards to refund melee energy, and given it's our Stasis subclass, we've got access to a number of aspects and fragments for different combinations. With the right combination, we can boost our shields and also our super regeneration speed as well. So combine this with Marksman's Dodge, and that's going to help keep Ager's Scepter pumping out that freeze without breaking its perk, the Will Given Form, meaning freezing more enemies more of the time and helping out your fire team. So looking at the specific aspects that we want, first of all we've got Grim Harvest, so defeating slowed or frozen combatants creates Stasis shards, and these shards grant melee energy when picked up by you or your allies. Also, you want to use Touch of Winter, so dust-filled grenades cover a larger AoE and spawn a small crystal, freezing enemies on contact. Looking at the fragments, I'm using the Whisper of Bonds, so defeating frozen targets grants super energy. I'm going to be using the Whisper of Bonds here, given defeating frozen targets gives us super energy, which is really good for giving energy to Ager's Scepter. Well, next up, looking at the mods for the build, I'm using Focusing Lens, so your light abilities do bonus damage to combatants affected by Stasis. I'm using Hands On, so gain super energy on melee kills. You can get that one from the seasonal artifact. I'm also using Font of Wisdom, so picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy grants a specific boost to your intellect, and that's going to help you get back your super nice and quickly. Then I'm using Elemental Charge to get charged with light by picking up an elemental well, and I'm also using Elemental Armament, so combatant weapon final blows with a damage type that matches your subclass element has an escalating chance to spawn an elemental well. I'm also using Elemental Shards, so Stasis shards count as Stasis elemental wells for you, and then High Energy Fire, so you increase the damage when charged with light. So High Energy Fire increases your damage, plus we got the Mask of Bakris boosting damage as well, making this build both great for support but also DPS too. The Elemental Well mods are doing two things, so I'm charging up my super and also helping increase damage output with the Charge with Light mods. So check out the build, see what you think, and let me know down in the comments what you think could be improved. Well, that is it for this guide for how to get the Mask of Bakris in Destiny 2 and also a Hunter PVE build. And as always, thank you so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you want to join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.
Sepic's Prime cast a great shadow over our city. With its destruction, the fallen devils will grow weaker.